Welcome to the body of the Kirk. What can I say? Some people are asking, is the ranting Reverend going to be contemplative? Is he going to be deep? Ball deep, let me tell you. Or is he going to be ranting? Well, for those that are in the body of the Kirk early this evening, there's going to be a little ranting. There's going to be a little contemplative stuff. And my life, honestly, my life. Bloody Newcastle, man. Oh, they're going to be insufferable. Yes, of course, I'm going to mention everyone that's said well done to the fucking barcodes. Ugh. Ugh. Honestly, it did my pluffer in. Technical term that we use in radio, of course. But I've had to take a double shot of Jaeger bomb just to sort of get me in the mood to be able to. Oh man, bloody hell! Was that a betting scam? 1-0 against Liverpool. Liverpool absolutely romping it. The league this season. Oh, bloody Newcastle, man. Oh, fuck. All the Macams know what I'm talking about. The Jordys, the barcodes, the skunks will be absolutely insufferable for the next 20 years. Bastards. Oh, me bloody tea's too hot. Oh, man. It's, third world problems and everything. But welcome to live number 155. We're certainly rattling through them. I'll do me welcome to everyone in a moment. I'll tell you what's going to be included in the Simon this evening in the body of the Kirk. So if you're just getting in, leave your shoes at the door, you're wronging. We don't want you clearing the place up as you come in, shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling. But there is extra Battenberg at the front. So if you can get into the pews, there's extra Battenberg at the front. Because last week, while I was giving the sermon, it was a bit... well, it was ripe, well, is all I can say. So I don't know whether it was the choir boys or whether it was Sister Mary, because I do have a confessional coming from Sister Mary in a moment. But it might have been the congregation. So I do hazard a guess that it was slightly florally, if I could be so bold, and that would have been down to, the Battenberg and the altar wine. Altar wine's always fine. But... Oh, Super Ted's in the body of the Kirk star straight away tonight saying, oh, good evening, Adrian, and well done to Newcastle from a Borough fan. What? Super Ted? How could you do that, man? 1-0. Well, I suppose. Kind of being politically correct, I'll just say that so long as the trophy came to the northeast of England, it's never going to come to Sunderland, that's for certain. Or the Borough, to be fair. But Borough might just, Super Ted, make it to the playoffs. They're just outside-ish. And Sand Dancer Sue. Let me pop your cherry, Sand Dancer Sue. I've had to enunciate my words there because Sand Dancer is somebody from South Shields. And they do make fantastic curries, or they used to. And Sand Dancer Sue. I was a DJ, like nightclub DJ, at the Chelsea Cat in South Shields, which holds many fantastic memory for me. No, I can't go into them. It was a nightclub. I was young. What can I say? But Sandancer Sue says Newcastle were fantastic. Oh, we're the lads. Now there is a difference for those that live outside of the northeast. This is why. I've told you before, my little nephew, he was told at 4-year-old, you're supporting Newcastle, you can find yourself another bloody family. Poor fella. Traumatised him. But he came round. He's now a season ticket holder at the Stadium of Light. But there is a difference in the northeast of England. It may be syntax, it may be semantics, but it is literally down to one letter. For the Jordys, and obviously I worked for BBC Newcastle and for Century in Newcastle. Well, Gateshead. The Gateshead side of the Tyne Bridge, which technically is Gateshead, but Newcastle, the Geordies, like to say, oh yes, Gateshead Stadium, that's Newcastle. And so all the good things are in Gateshead, not Newcastle. And I do have a certain affinity with Newcastle, and that takes a lot for me to say, being a Macam. But I have had many happy memories working for Beat Newcastle. Being nightclub DJ at Walkers in in Newcastle, and I saw the other day little Bobby Thompson. If you're aware of the Northeast, little Bobby Thompson was a comedian, and he used to have a really broad Sunderland accent. And one of my friends put an advert on, I think it was Facebook or something, the other day, and Bobby Thompson was massively well known in the Northeast. I mean, hugely. He was a superstar in the Northeast, but not anywhere else outside. And the accent is sometimes very difficult to understand. And there was a DIY place in the Northeast called Starks. But if you pronounce it as we would do locally, Starks. And the tagline for this advert was Ganter Starks. And all of a sudden you've gone, what? Translate, Adrian. Translated, it would be, oh, I say, old boy, if you need anything for doing it yourself, unless the missus is giving you a helping hand, go to Starks. Go to Starks. But the problem is that every time I try and say this, I just regress back to my local accent from Sunderland. Ganter Starks. It's in Shiny Ra. And people go, where? Well, it's spelled shiny with a EY at the end and row, ROW. So Shiny Row for all the posh people outside of, the northeast of England, because everybody from the northeast of England just understood what I said. Ganter Starks, Shiny Ra. And you just go, Adrian, what language are you speaking? Is it Swahili, sir? May as well be. Super Ted, yeah, all right. Borough fan, Sunderland fan, Newcastle fans. Well, they took over, what did I say earlier? They took over Covent Garden. Bless them, having a bit of a sing-song. And now they've come away with the Carabao Cup. What the bloody hell's a carabao? Is that one of those African animals with horns? The Jordys love a thing with horns. Bless them. So, Sandancer, congratulations. Newcastle were fantastic. So, as I was going to say, the difference between Newcastle and Sunderland, and it literally is this final line. They say, Howe, the lads. So it's Howay, Howe, the lads. But in Sunderland, it's Howe, the lads. Haway, Howe, the lads. It literally, we fight over this in the northeast of England. You think there's footballing rivalries in Glasgow or in Liverpool or in London? How do we and shite, man? This is life and death in the northeast of England. Don't you understand that? Life and death. One letter. The Jordys say it with an O, the Mackhams say it with an A, and literally for 100 and odd years we've been fighting over everything. Simon Smedley says, hello, ya wrong'uns. Evening, Simon. Paulie Galtieri, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrong'un. Oh, Paulie, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Stuart, evening, Rev. Hope you're well. Well, I was until I heard the score. I know you won't mind me bringing my own beer to the Kirk. Oh, I say, are we hiding it from the choir boys, Stuart? Tonight, not like Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop, wasn't it Ed Bishop that was the head of, what do they call it in UFO? It was Ed Bishop. Or was it Ed Strager? Sure, it was Ed Bishop. Here's some extra Jaeger bomb as a thank you. Well, I just needed to get. I need extra Jaeger bomb to get through the live tonight, Stuart. Thank you very much. Karen Boo says, "Oh, hello everyone. I'm here nice and early," because Karen talks like that. I'm here nice and early tonight. Got to get the best seat. I'm only a little one. Hope all you other wrong'uns are well and in the warm. It's let's all hold hands and contact the dead. We're bloody freezing in here. I'm sure the ghosts have come in here to get a warm. Needed that. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, Karen. Welcome to the body of the Kirk to everyone so far. Paul Durkee. Paul, good to see you in the body of the Kirk tonight. Well done to Newcastle. It's been a long time coming. Sounds like my sex life. Yes, I can only say in a magnanimous way, Paul. Yeah, well done to the Mags. Blimey, I'll get slaughtered for that. Sandra Whiteham. Oh, hello, Sandra. I did see the score a little earlier. Oh, my word, it's getting tight. Although we do like things a little tighter, but not this tight. I mean, it's 3 teams into 2 at the minute. Burnley are right on it, but so's the Blades and And Leeds. 1973. Ian Porterfield. 32 minutes. Sunderland, the underdogs, are in the lead. And only those from Leeds and or the northeast of England will understand that. But Sandra, congratulations. I do expect the Blades to go up this year. Make your own gags up. Go up to the Premiership. It won't be Sunderland. We'll be lucky. I mean, at one point, we were 5 points ahead, game in hand, absolutely slaughtering the Championship. And then they got rid of Mike Dodds, one of the coaches, and then off a cliff. Don't care. They're all leggy. The players don't care. They're shite. All I can say. Technical term that we use in radio, of course. Hi there. We're still joint top of the league. 80 points, Sandra, after beating City rivals at the Rust Bucket. I saw that a little earlier. We did beat Sheffield Wednesday recently. So they let's just say we'll be kind and gentle that they need to bolster their squad. Andrew James. So welcome to the body of the Kirk, Sandra. Andrew James, the Rev, will be late. He's booking tickets for Snow White over the phone. Oh, I can't wait to see the Wokarati. Isn't the I've just got sweary words in my head, so I'm just being nice. But the girl that plays Snow White, or Snow Slush, as she's now called in my house, she's as pure as the driven slush. She's been all woke, and it's killing it. And Disney are not very happy. Disney didn't at all. I'm being facetious. Tom Harney's, thank you, Andrew. Tom Harney's, hi everyone. I hope you're all well and raring to go. It's a lovely day for ranting and letting it all hang out. I can't. Last time I let it all out in the forest, I got arrested. But thank you, Tom. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. A couple more before we get everybody with their feet under the pews. And if you are in, smash the likes on your way in. Yeah, wrong. I'm trying my best. And I will tell you that tonight I have the answer. I am cutting through the fog of war, the bullshit from Starmer the Harmer and his Harmer team. I do think that Starmer and the Harmers is quite a good name for a band, although they probably get rotten tomatoes and eggs and cabbages thrown at them a bit like Cracker Jack. But I'm gonna have to rant. I can't keep it in. I can't let it out. Who sang that? Who's the I can't let it in, can't let it out. There's a song in there somewhere. We might talk music tonight, actually, because I feel a bit of an anorak session. We do need an anorak session, but I am going to give you, in the first hour, I am going to give you and cut through the fog of war and give you the answer to absolutely everything that is going on in the world now. Not that arsehole in number 10, not the arsehole, bigger arsehole. I mean, she's got a massive black hole in number 11. Because they just lie. They lie. But I am going to give you the answer to everything. And if I can remember all the stuff that I've picked up over the last few days, it is really weird that the mainstream media are not telling you this. Well, of course, they have an agenda, don't they? Twats. Oh, sorry, did that slip out? Where are we? Yeah, Lionel Leighton. So, Tom, welcome to the body of the Kirk, sir. Lionel Leighton, unrehearsed. Good evening, all. I'm early, looking forward to be enlightened. Oh, I say, Lionel, I wouldn't go that far, sir. Although I do enjoy this kind of the start and welcoming everyone into the body of the Kirk. We've got some advice from Sister Mary. Now, I do understand that she has green fingers. Not quite sure whether that's from syphilis or something, gardening, evidently. But I will welcome everyone into the body of the Kirk, and then we'll get stuck in, because I'm going to cut through the fog of war. I'm not going to mess about. Someone posted the other day saying, oh, you need to listen to this guy because he's got no fear. Is fear coloured brown? Can you smell what I smell? Oh, Battenberg, where did that come from? Andrew James, be careful what you say. A certain music mogul with demented smile sang about letting it all hang. Who would that be? Was that Jonathan King? Well, that demented smile. My name's Jonathan King. Hello, Jonathan. How you doing, bonny lad? Didn't Simon Cowell donate shit tons of money to your defence fund for the Rent Boy debacle? Fact. Jonathan will tell you on his channel. I haven't seen it for 6 months or so, but Andrew, are we talking about Jonathan King driving about in his roller? Oh, tart. We're getting to the hibiscus perfect temperature, the Goldilocks. Phil the Van's in the body of the Kirk. Evening, Phil. And Tom Harney says to Andrew James, as long as the verger doesn't catch me, you should be okay. Well, it depends what you're doing. I was in the barber's the other day, having a bit of a trim. Obviously, you can tell it wasn't on my head. But you know when they put those robes on you? I was sitting there, I took my gogs off, and I just thought, I'll give the glass a clean. And they were like, oh, you muggy tart, what are you doing under that? I said, what do you mean? He said, it looks like you're knocking one out. I said, knocking one of what out? He said, well, look at you. I said, excuse me, I'm cleaning my glasses. Turks, what can I say? Napoleon blown apart. Hello, everyone. Evening, Reverend. I hope you and Mrs. A are well. Thank you, Napoleon blown apart. Similar to you and yours, young sir, in the US of A. I'm sure that you're going to like what I'm going to say this evening, because cutting through the fog of war without stuttering tonight is very good for the American people. So thank you, Napoleon blown apart. There's a lot going on across the pond in jolly old Blighty. Well, you can say it about everywhere. Anybody seen Sniffy recently? He's, well, as I said in the live on Wednesday, he's, and this is why I'm going to reference Sniffy and Starmer the Harmer. He's not my favourite person. We're going to talk about reform because there's a by-election. Why do they call it by-election? Does it go both ways? And we're going to talk about the Trump. I'm going to give you the Trump's playbook, exactly the playbook, and why. Because there's lots of good things going on with crypto, but it doesn't seem to help that crypto isn't going up. 5% up one day, 5% down the next day, 5% up the one day, 5% down the next day, and you just think, hang on a second, who that's controlling this? The institutions, of course. But we'll talk about that. Napoleon blown apart. What? So many protests, so many unhappy English men and women. Oh, you can say that again. Bloody hell. Tom Harney's I Was Born to Be Wild. Born to Be Wild. Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf. Yeah, has Amalia forgotten again? Honestly, I think she's got early onset. Oh, yeah, Amalia, where are you? And welcome to Lauren Taylor. Apologies, Lauren. I was about to say welcome and do that, and my finger was a bit too. I'm cracking gags in my. Amalia's in the body of the Kirk. Welcome, Amalia. She's remembered. Nothing like a good anorak session. Swish, swish, swish. Because that swish is what is the sound that anoraks make. And if you're in radio and you've got some anoraks who know the power of your transmitter. There's a gag in there. You can hear them at 50 paces. Swish, swish, swish. So, Amalia, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Andy Turner, Billy Bragg. Billy Bragg for what? Tablock Tracy's in the body of the Kirk. Moke Horn, it's always more snug up near the back end. Bless you. Tighter. Especially if you're a little broader in the beam, shall we say. So, welcome everyone to the body of the Kirk. This is Adrian Allen's Theatre of the Mind, live number 155. Oh, hang on a second. Somebody's mentioning Starmer's sausage. Starmer and Sausage Fingers' relationship seems a bit strained at the moment. What, the well-hung lesbian in Buckingham Palace? He don't live there. Bless him. Yeah, we'll get there. Martine's here. Thank you. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, Martine. And finally, Cuban Pete. Still not my king. We get it, Cuban Pete. I think there's quite a few people along with you. Les Griffiths, does anyone really think Starmer is in charge of the government? Don't be silly, Les. We're with you, man. We're with you. But we are going to have to mention him tonight because he's at it. I've got loads of questions to ask you tonight. Some actually quite serious. But we'll get to those in a moment. So welcome to all those Battenbergers that are supporting the channel virtually weekly. Stuart, thank you. Welsh Lady, thank you. Rich, thank you. Angelic Inspirations, thank you. And Bovril, thank you very much. Thank you for your support. It is much welcomed, simply because I don't have to put my own money into the swear box for the bishop to come back and go, bloody hell, man, Rev, what you been doing while I've been away? I was only in Rome trying to sort things out. Oh, by the way, Pope's dead. What, you don't believe me? I'm going to ask you one question. Chief paedophile is carked, dead, is no more. This parrot is deceased. So why would you think that they're not giving you any pictures of the Pope going, all right, lads, yeah, I'm not very well. No, I'm not very well. It's me lungs, you see. You don't get any pictures. You just get press releases out of the Vatican. And we know how evil the Vatican is. Oh, do you know they got all the Nazis out of Germany and via Italy and the Vatican and into South America so they could get out of Germany without getting caught? Correct. Hang on, I haven't asked you a question yet, you wrong-uns. I just wanted to say to those legendary Battenbergers that have helped out. Now, talking about, so the Pope's dead. They're not giving you any pictures. They're not giving you anything. They're managing their PR team and managing how to get this message to the hundreds of Catholics around the world. Doing a very good job of it. Oh, yeah, he's improving ever so slightly. Mate, until I see him, and I see him walking about going, oof, close call, 88-year-old, you know, that's not a bad innings for a poop and a rope. But I just... So Terry Wookfit, straight in. Picture was released about 2 hours ago from the Vatican. The photo shows the pontiff sitting in a wheelchair in front of an altar in a chapel in Rome's Gemelli Hospital, where he has been recovering from pneumonia. AI. I want to see him walking about. Terry Wookfit is one of the best researchers in the body of the Kirk. But I don't believe anything that comes out of the Vatican, including that they didn't get the Germans, the Nazis, out of Germany via Italy in, varying vessels to get them to South America. Just look up the book Grey Wolf. That'll tell you everything that you need to know about young Adolf and how he got out of Germany. You believe the historical tome that, Hitler was killed in the bunker, and then they did some experiments on the bones that came out of the Führer's bunker, and turns out to be 30-something females' hip or bones. Nicky Watson, the Pope was gone. He's not gone very far, if at all, Nicky. But I like you. Just show me the picture, show me the vid, and AI and AGI, because we're at that stage now where AGI just looks after itself. And if you say to doing the can, if you can, he says Jackie Glasgow, lungs, he might need holding up, so to speak. Evidently, and from what I hear, there's no truth in the rumour that a few choir boys have helped him get it up. Andrew James, Alex, there was thinking you go to Haven, chatting up single mums on the dole and treat them to bingo. Is that a case of, touch your toes, bingo? Gene Psychic, Argentine Hitler died about 1962. I remote viewed a few years ago now. Oh, fantastic, Gene. I'd love to talk to you about that and remote viewing. I've got, where is it? I've got a great book on remote viewing called Adventures in Dreamland, I think it was. And it was about the American military's remote viewing program. I haven't read it in 15, 20 years. But if you want a book on remote viewing, Adventures in Dreamland, fantastic. Area 51 and everything. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist, you understand. Ish. So Gene Psychic, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Wookfit says the Wookfit, that's Mr. Wookfit to you, Reverend. You're wrong. To Cuban Pete, so they can manipulate him. Last couple of times they did, young'uns went badly, including one being a... Oh, I say, Terry Wookfit. And the Pope being, Well, one was a Nazi, so they've had one of the old ones was a Nazi, and he said, "No, no, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I'm going to retire." Retiring as a pope. I mean, what did the big lad upstairs say to him, to Ratzinger, to go, "Oi, Ratzinger, you're wrong. And I know what you've done. When you try to get in through the pearly gates, I'm not letting you in. My right-hand man, I've got bloody choir boys to do that for me." There's Griffiths now. Now we know the significance of the red shoes. Probably not wearing any knickers. Karina Jane. Oh, someone on here brought back 1,000 memories when they mentioned Michael McDonald tunes the other night. I know, Karina Jane. Sometimes when I come off the lives or the next day, I'll just sort of reflect on what we're doing in the lives, and sometimes I'll go musically off to me Spotify and just play a few tunes. And it was Michael McDonald this Thursday. So welcome, Karina Jane. You've seen That Men Who Stare at Goats? Yes, I have, Phil, but a while ago. It's a bit hazy. I might have had a little bit too much Jägermeister at the time. Yamo be there. Jeffrey Ingram, James Ingram, Yamo be there. What a great song. Peter Christie, man. Tune. Honestly, I swear, for the next 20 years, we're going to get that until Sunderland wins some kind of silverware. Oh, we won the Papa John trophy for like little teams in the Northern Conference. Papa John. It was pizza trophy. Because all the fat lads play for Sunderland are eating all the pizza. Fat tarts. Okay, who's guffed? Oh, wait. It's the Pope. Mouldering. Oh, I say Napoleon blown apart. Welcome and congratulations, Peter Christie. An extra trophy in the northeast is not a bad thing to be going on with. So tonight we're going to cut through the fog of war. Do you know what World War III is? Do you know that we are in the midst of World War III? If you don't believe me, just take this. Oh, I say. We're back to bingo. Lube it up first, Reverend. Dave Allen was always taking the piss out of the Pope on his TV show. Matthew, he had good reason to, because they're all bloody evil. I mean, portraying themselves. And the white Pope doesn't have any power. Just, he's ceremonial. It's the Jesuit Pope. Isn't it the black Pope that has the power? The Jesuits that hold the power? And the white Pope just kind of goes along with things. As Griffith says, UK conscription is coming soon. I'm going to explain that, Les, tonight. But World War III, how are you, man? Ranting Rev, what do you mean, World War III? Well, we are in the midst of World War III. Do you know what it is? No, it's not firing ballistic missiles at each other at Mach 4, which the Russians did to the Ukrainians, at which point Zelensky shit himself. Well, at least it cured his constipation. So it's not bombs. It's not bullets. It's not drones. It's finance. It really is that simple. It's all corruption because all politicians, bar none, all politicians are corrupted by the power. So they're corrupt, in my view. So World War III isn't about getting the soldiers on the ground, boots on the ground. It's not about bombs. It's not about bullets. It's not about drones, although the Russians and the Ukrainians are quite good at flying drones. And we've seen loads of videos of them killing each other with drones. It is, well, not necessarily even a cyber war. Although, Alan, in my view, and, everyone's welcome to their own view. So there's Alan's cyber war with a broad brushstroke. Des Ashton says information and communication war. I get all that, but we are going digital, so you are. Cuban Pete says, only if Starmer's son gets conscripted as well. Don't be silly, Cuban Pete. I know we talked about this a few weeks ago. Starmer's son, never going to happen in a month of Sundays or ginger growlers. Les Griffiths. World War III, Adrian. Read the book of Revelation. It's being played out before our eyes. And no, I am not overly religious. It plainly is. Garin Davies says, ramping up for Project Blue Beam. I think some of that happened in America recently and Hawaii. So I'm going to ask you question one. Early doors, question one. Right, which one do we want? Yeah, we're not changing subject. I'll kind of ask this one question because I've got 6 questions I want to ask you tonight. Project Blue Balls, just put ice on it, Alan, seemingly. There's Klingons on the starboard now. Oof. I've got so many gags running through my head. I will get chucked off this channel. I'm going to ask you a question because Cuban Pete says a little earlier, not my king. And Cuban Pete's been saying this for the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to ask you a straight question. You know, it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Do we need a monarchy? It's 2025. It's not like Downton, where they're going to go to dinner every evening. And, well, you know, they're going to wear a dinner jacket and bow tie. And the ladies are going to be in full makeup and dresses. But, interesting. Roland and Kathy Harper say yes, as does Rich. But Gene's psychic, and there's Griffiths and Steve Barnes, and bloody hell. So, question is, first question of the evening, there's 6 to come, virtually every 15, 20 minutes or so. But do we need a monarchy? It's 2025. We've got an opportunity, and is it the Orange Lodge and the marches in Scotland where they love King Billy? We've got King Billy coming on the throne soon. Depends on His Royal Highness the King Charles the Weak and his prostate cancer. But I've always been told if you catch prostate cancer, there's very little chance of you recovering from that. You know, so Turjurger, Catwoman Jones, everyone that's a first timer this evening, either in the chat or in the voting, you get me popping your cherry. So do we need a monarchy? 1 for yes, 2 for no. To be fair to the voters this evening, it appears that, Charles the Weak is not a favourite of this sceptred isle, although King Billy might be. Younger, he's got a bit of facial hair, he's doing the old George Michael. And I did think about this earlier today. You know, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, if you have a look at your dailies today, there's lots of pictures of young William, the Prince of Wales, and young Catherine, the Princess of Wales. And does that look like it's a North Yorkshire word, Bewer, in the reportage and pictures in the local farm shop that seemingly William and Catherine went to? No, it doesn't look like it, but you need to have gone to Specsavers because the bloody idiots in the mainstream media are saying, oh, that was evidently Catherine. My hairy backside. My hairy arse. Gene Psychic says, like father, like son, I'm afraid. Oh, well, the Queen did want to have lunch with William, and there's poor Harry. No, bugger off, you're coming. I'm having lunch with prospective king. You're just a spare, you. How do I shite? So poor Harry, it's traumatised him all of his life. Gene Psychic, she does not look like Catherine. I know. And yet idiots were going, I can see I've good peepers. I can see that it's her. And I was looking, going, how do we in shite, man? That's not the same woman. She needed to lose about 20 stone. Hang on. Cuban Pete, let him keep putting his dates in the bag. What's that code for, Cuban Pete? So I just wanted to know how you feel. Mac Star. I know, I just fancy it. Porchester equals Andrew. You mean Porchy? You Porchy shagged the Queen. Well, that's why Andrew looks like Porchy and he doesn't look like Philip. It's one of those urban legends, shall we say. But they're dead now, so I can say anything I want. Until the 77th Brigade start knocking on my door. I'll tell you, I'll make a video, obviously, if I'm going to be sent down. So I wanted to get back to World War III. And Simon, this evening, I'm going to cut through the fog of war. We're going to talk about the Royals BS. We're going to talk about Starmer and his Harmers. Like I say, a good name for a band, if a bit punky, bit metally. So good name for a band, in my view. Football's collapsing. Yeah, there's 530 footy players addicted to drugs, booze and gambling. I think most of them play for Sunderland. Because, in my view, because they're saying, oh, their legs are heavy, they can't really play. Well, Sunderland's always been known as a drinking club. So they'll have a bit of a sesh before they even go on the pitch. Since 1981, we are not subjects. I see you. What happened? Oh, yes. Yes, he got married, didn't he? Hang on. I see you. We are not citizens. We are subjects of the crown. So how can we not be subjects since 1981? Paulie Galtieri says halal chicken, sausage fingers. Brilliant. Ria Odell, oh, welcome back to the body of the Kirk, Ria. Technically, no, but it brings in money and it's our heritage. We'd never get it back if it went. Well, hogs of war, Amalia. Try selling that with a little crackling. Obama and Jennifer Aniston, Big Mike not happy. Oh, well, it's interesting because Jennifer Aniston doesn't have a cock, does she? Pop-eyed was that? Obama and Jennifer Aniston. Big Mike, not happy. No, he's not. He's not happy at all. Blimey, Alan, there was an act passed in 1981. What was that? Was that kind of to get us into Europe and keep us in Europe before Tony Blair's only job, him and Robin Cook? Oh, poor Robin. They went and signed the treaties of Nice. And all of a sudden, we're in Europe and we can't get out of Europe. And then we had Brexit in 2016. We got rid of it before and brought it back successfully. Funnily enough, same names as Chuck the Turd. Oh, Chuck the Turd. Jennifer has a manly face, especially chin. That's, well, yes. I've just thought of something that I'm not quite sure how to relate to you. It's a bit about my nightclub years. I'm going to tell you anyway. The only subjects are MPs, lords, etc. The armed forces, snivel serpents. Ooh, really, Alan? So are we citizens now? Is that because we're part of... we started with, we're going into the common market. And we're going into the common market because they've got so much milk and so much butter and so much things we're going to give you for freebies. And everybody's gone, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, we're getting freebies. Yes, because we're going into the common market, of course. So we get in, Des Ashton, bread and circuses, I completely agree. So we go into the common market and then the Europeans start shafting us for our money, still to this day. I'm going to have to read your comments after this. Robin Cook's suspicious death. Yes, Gene Psychic, I'm with you. Poor bloke had a heart attack. How's it fit as a fiddle? I mean, there was no weight on him. Poor bloke. Him and Dr. David Kelly. See what I did there? N thinks he's had his sausage fingers in hindsight. Oh my word! Yeah, well, if he's had his old colon tickled, then Terry Wookford's still waiting for the free butter from the butter mountain. Me too. But it's good for you. Butter seemingly comes out of cows. Gene Psychic says life was better before the common market. Edward Heath sold us off. You know how evil Edward Heath was, in my view. Just don't go sailing with him. Cuban Pete, I can't believe it's not butter. So we're going to have footy Southport. Oh, I say, the management of truth. Southport. Could you ever? You know, they're using ships as dodgems in the North Sea. I'm going to talk about that because I don't know about you. Do you know sometimes when you read things and your instinct kind of goes boom, boom, boom. That's not true. I'm kind of picking something up. Ships as dodgems in the North Sea. It's one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. It's all computerized and a Russian captaining a ship smacks another ship. And it's still ablaze. Well, on Wednesday it was still ablaze. Wednesday, Thursday. So we'll talk about that. Ukraine, they're going to be told you're too corrupt to join NATO. Oh, I say. We'll talk about disabilities because this evil, evil, evil government are going to do the knees of... they're just going... I can't... It makes me so angry that what I'm going to do under this particular live, there is an online petition to support those with disabilities, because this evil, pernicious, scum-sucking pond lives that are in government, they don't care. They literally don't care. So they're going to stop the benefits of 1 million disabled. Oi, 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 oi. I mean, yeah, have a look at it just to make sure that they are disabled. But, you know, any society, and I do believe that we live in one, any society should look after its elderly and infirm and its young uns, like the children, the babies. So we're going to look at that, and the thing that's made me apoplectic with rage, and I think there's a couple of P left in the swear box, the bastards that think they know this country, they're now saying, I think it was some Birmingham University, have gone, oh yes, white privilege, that's what Shakespeare was about. What? I'll say to these arseholes, you want to come up to Sunderland, mate. You want to come up to the northeast. Have a look at the white privilege. They were the ones that went down 1 mile down and 2 miles out to hack at a coal seam to bring it back up so people could light fires and keep fires and cook things in their home. And these scum-sucking pond life at Birmingham University are saying, oh, it's white privilege. Fuck off. Sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of the Muslims being the head of the Department of Justice or the Ministry of Justice. I'm sick and tired of that bloody mayor in London. I'm sick and tired now of Ofsted having a Muslim head of it. What are they doing? They're taking over this country. There's 60 odd million of us who are just trying to do the right thing, like during COVID, and that fucker came out of Wuhan lab. Have you seen any of the newspapers over the last 7 days or so? The newspapers that couldn't tell us at the time that this shit came out of the Wuhan lab. Now everybody's like, oh, don't you know, the virus was American funded and it's coming out of the Wuhan lab. All of them can go and fuck that Oscar. The minute you take our heritage, the minute you tell us that we are less than, the minute you tell the collective of this sceptred isle, that's why Charles is weak, because he's not standing up for us. And Starmer the Harmer, honestly, he's going to be consigned to history, and history is going to laugh at him. Every single fucking day, we're going to laugh at him. So I would suggest to you that don't allow him, because you know he's taking a right-wing turn. Starmer. Just listen to him, the way he's talking now, even with a voice coach. History is going to burst its incontinence pants laughing at this moron. In my view, intellectual pygmy. We are going to get to him because I have to concentrate on him tonight for a reason. He's building his part. He hasn't got a part to build, bless him. Prime Minister of this country, and he should be looking after the majority in this country. Yes, I understand that there should be support and there should be guidance for those that are coming into this country, and I don't mean the illegals. It's like, I think about Starmer, and then I think, you know that place where the pilots are in the aeroplane? Why is it called a cockpit? Don't know why I associate that with Starmer. I mean, if you want to sort of elucidate the subject, you've got 5 guys and now banning bacon. Now, take it from me. I love pork. I love belly pork. I love crackling. I love bacon. I love Danish. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it. I love the sound of it. I love just being around when my mum or dad, well, mum mainly, was cooking on a Sunday. Oh, bacon, butty, the bread dipped. Oi, oi, oi. It's as close to an orgasm as I'm going to get at my age. But 5 guys, they sell bloody burgers, man. Burgers and chips, and now they're banning bacon. I feel people walking away from 5 guys. Go woke, go broke, remember? And now we've got Subway. Used to have Subways all the time. You're not going to be able to get ham, bacon, or pork products whatsoever in Subway. Oh, well, They're going to go bankrupt. Bye. Bye. Because the 60-odd million of us who love the taste of pork and crackling and any pork products and ham and bacon, and you're not going to allow us to eat that? You're dictating what we can and can't eat? Foxtrot Oscar. Look forward to seeing the headlines. Subway's gone under. Did you see what I did there? It's not just flung together, this. 185 branches of Subway. I'm looking forward to them going under. I'm looking forward to them saying, oh, we made a mistake. I'm looking forward to Five Guys going, oh, profits are down. Who's gone halal? Five Guys. We don't need to have any differentiation in this country. It's like if we go anywhere in the Middle East, we have to adhere to their rules and regulations, what they do. I mean, it's like any community. If you're going to eat and break bread with that community, you have to adhere to what they decide is for them. Pork. Oi, 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 oi. So they're now saying they're going to prepare meats in accordance with halal, in accordance with halal rules. This is England. This is Great Britain. You know, but it's the political will that's doing this. They're taking the proverbial pee out of us. Because I'll say to you, so we're 5 years gone. Was it about March 20th when we had the first lockdown? And in 2020? So it's 5 years. And they said to us, 5 or 6 weeks. And then it turned out to be a few months. And then it turned out to be 2 years. And we all tried to do the right thing. Let's be adult about this. We all tried to do the right thing. And what happened? They took our trousers down and shafted us. Fucking Bojo the Clown. That man needs to go away forever. Because in today's paper, look, front of the Mail. I'm not suggesting that this is the Bible, or is that the right way round? No, I don't think it is. It says, Spy Chief, I told Number 10, COVID did leak from China lab. Labour's Lord Valance rubbished secret dossier. Of course he would. He's look, all Labour politicians are taking freebies. It's corruption. They're taking backhanders. How do you think he gets fucking free glasses? How do you think that Lord Ali gets the key to Number 10? What's he doing going in Number 10? He's never been elected to go in there. Off to the Lords, mate. Free suits, free clothes, free everything, free travel, free private planes. If you want to become Prime Minister, you get free everything. I mean, look at Rich Boy, the cockeyed idiot. He was like, oh, I'll take this helicopter and we're going to charge the taxpayers. They're all at it. They're all thinking above their station. Well, Rich Boy wasn't because he couldn't stand up that high. But we're trying to do the right thing, the best thing, by everybody, by the community, by everyone here. Because it's the right thing to do. And now, not only are we being told today in front page headlines of the Mail on Sunday, this has been going on virtually every day this week, where newspapers are printing it that it came out of the Wuhan lab. The Americans are printing it in their mainstream media that it came out of the Wuhan lab. Where's Bill Gates when you need him? Where's Dr. Fauci when you need him? Oh, I say, no. William Gates, he'll be in the background. Well, ask his wife. They're all evil. They're corrupted by their money. They're corrupted by the power that their money brings them. It's very simple to explain. So we have a situation in this country where we have Muslim prayers being sung in St. George's Chapel. Now, just this needs to be said. As an adult, I would like to think intelligent. But please, we have sacred places in this country. We have sacred churches that have histories going back 1,000 years or more. So William the Conqueror came to this country 1070, easily over 1,000 years ago, and he built the original Windsor Castle. It was just like a square thing, wasn't a great grandiose thing. But over the next 200 or 300 years, whilst the Templars were around, the Crusaders were around, and their banking system was around, Windsor Castle was built and built and built and built to the beauty that it is today. It is a sacred space. And somebody decided, oh, well, it'd be very evolved if we allow people to sing certain prayers in St. George's Chapel. Queen Elizabeth II will not be spinning in her grave. She literally would... Alan, I've been to Lincoln Cathedral. It is a thing of beauty. And churches and cathedrals, call me dull and boring, are just because there's so much information in them. Information that most people don't have eyes to see. They just go, oh, front door, go in, oh yeah, down there at the front. If you go to Durham Cathedral, you can feel the transept. If you walk from the bottom of the transept straight down to St. Cuthbert's grave, in Durham Cathedral, you can feel the energy change. I've done it. Look, I work with Reiki. I work with energy, and I've literally, you can stand there and you can feel the energy change. So churches, although people kind of go, oh, bloody hell, Adrian, how boring are you? How dull are you? There's things that have been left for us to work out. If you talk about sacred geometry, and sacred places. Now, again, as an adult conversation, those sacred places that have been allowed for us, this septile populace, the indigenous population of this country, this island race, we have evolved over, well, if you look at Athelstan in 925, 926, we've evolved over 1,200 years. Now, people come here and they decide, I mean, it's not necessarily one particular community. It is all communities. Some have been persecuted for 1,000 years. That'll be the Jewish community and populace. If you look at the mosques that have been erected or converted from our Christian churches, that's another sacred space. We have sacred spaces everywhere. But please, please, please allow us those sacred spaces. Charles the Weak should be leading his people. He kind of goes, oh, I'm the defender of the faiths. No, mate. The way that these people of this island see it, you are the defender of the faith. The Christian church, the Church of England, as arranged and brought about by another king, Henry VIII. Bit of a shagger, but was a shagger because he wanted to have one male heir and couldn't get him. Couldn't get it out of the women that he was shagging, bless him. So we need to have, there needs to be respect. I think that's the adult way. We need to have respect and not be let down by the parasitical classes, the political classes, not being let down by our monarchy. And looking at the judges, Nathan Diamond says, I live across the road from St. Peter's Church. Stunning, packed on a Sunday. Is it those cramming for their finals? Charles' satanic portrait shows who he worships. Les, I saw that and I still haven't come to terms with what that is about. Because I know if, you know, in say 500 or 1,000 years, some people look at some of Salvador Dali's stuff. They'll probably get a grasp of the Impressionists, but not the Surrealists. So there will be in 1,000 years, people will go and look at Salvador Dali's stuff and the other Surrealists going, what the bloody hell were they on? Was it Builder's Tea or something? So staying with what's going on, yes, Vix text that portrait. Paul Morton says, King Charles of Islam. I feel really sorry for him in one sense, that he's not able to get an understanding of what the people of this sceptred isle need. He's beyond understanding. He kind of will stand there. We pay, he poses. But we have very long memories in this country. So please, leave our sacred spaces sacred. If anybody tries to take them over, well, we know what's going to happen. There'll be civil unrest on the streets of this country. I mean, maybe that's what they want. Maybe that's what Starmer the Harmer, and Charlie hosting Zelensky. I mean, I think it was because somebody said to Sniffy, "Oi, Charlie's over there." So we've got a by-election in a couple of weeks. We're going to go to our second question. We have a by-election in Cheshire, I think, and I don't know about you, but watching this, I mean, we have to be very careful. It's a by-election, not a general election, so we have a certain amount of leeway. But I'm going to ask you this question. After the outbreak of civil war in Reform, whether you're in Cheshire or anywhere else of the local councils, if there was a general election tomorrow, after this civil war breakout, would you still vote Reform? At the ballot box, 1 for yes, 2 for no. I want to know if you would vote at the ballot box for Reform, or whether you're, because the veil is being lifted ever so slightly, 1 for yes, 2 for no. The Bovril, yeah, it's the only game in town. Interesting. 3 sons in Cheshire, Gene Psychic. Des Ashton, the Runcorn polls still show a massive swing to, hang on, Des, everybody's for Reform. And it looks like, virtually to a man and woman, it is one, apart from Martine, who says no. And I will be really honest with you. I'm really not sure now, because I am going to ask you another one in a moment. So, not sure anymore if it really makes a difference. Sandra Wytham, definitely not. Alan says, I'm still deciding, but I'm disgusted with Farage at the moment. And Brit 2014 UK says no. So are they breaking us down to either confuse us or make sure that we don't vote the way away from the Uniparty, whether it's the Tories and Labour? And you know my feelings. I've told you many, many times that Labour's dead in the water. It's finished. That's why all the research that Labour have been doing, all the focus groups have been telling them that they're absolutely getting it wrong. Well, let me tell you something. This next week is going to be a crucial week for Labour, because you've got Rachel from Accounts, who's going to shaft me and you and everybody else. She's got the budget coming up at the beginning of April, which is not too far away. And remember, it's Mother's Day. Where are we on? It's Mother's Day, 2 weeks today. Also, the clocks go forward. So when we start, in 2 weeks, when we start this live, it'll still be daylight. Whoop, whoop. So the parasitic classes, those that, like Fat Lad Lammy, those that are saying, oh, don't worry, we'll get power back. Labour dead in the water. People will not, doesn't matter what they say. And I've been going through my newspaper archive, and what I have got is I'm going to do a video on what Labour promised in the run-up to the general election last year. They literally promised you the earth, and now they're shafting you. It's not a little bit of pegging. It's not a little bit of prostate examination finger. It is literally, it's donkey's cock that's been given to you. Let me tell you. I mean, they literally lie and lie and lie. And I'm going to give you the proof, because I've got the evidence. I'm going to give you the proof and show you where Rachel Reeves lied. I'm going to show you where Angela Rayner lied. I'm going to show you where Sir Keir Starmer lied, because they're all lying. They just wanted the power. They weren't interested in what you needed. They just wanted the power. It's even worse than 1997, when Charles Linton Google it. Bow Street Magistrates. When Charles Lyndon got into power with his Mrs. Sherry. Loves taking showers with women, Sherry. Rusty's Roamings, the small channel. Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib. I think there's going to be a schism. I think for the moment they're trying to keep the party from completely shattering. And there are some councillors and there are some members of the Reform Party. Now, remember that their membership is not actually membership. You're paying for subscriptions. So they're subscribers. It's a bit like having a YouTube channel where subscribers don't even matter, but you still pay your money. Not right, Nige? So we'll have the answers were given ages before you asked the question. I know, Reg D. But people feel so impassioned about this. They feel like we're being let down by the political classes, by the parasitical classes, as I call them, because that's all they do. They just suck the blood of the man and woman on the street. The man and woman on the street is literally just wanting to have happy, I wouldn't say little lives, but they just want to be happy. And the politicians don't give a flying sweary Mary word. They don't. They literally don't give a flying. Do you know, very interestingly, my phone tells me I've got 243 people watching this live, and on YouTube itself says there's only 238 watching. How does that work, you thieving bastards? How does that work? Oh, you control all the data, so you control all the money that goes to these poor channel creators that are knocking their pipe out to do stuff. 243 on my phone, 238 on the channel. Breathe. Breathe. So one of the main questions, one of the main arguments of reform at the moment is Rupert Lowe is calling for mass deportations. 249 on my mobile phone, 238 on the channel. Honestly. Don't forget to hit the likes, so to speak. I'm going to ask you another question. I've asked if you would vote reform, a very interesting response. But as I say, the civil war's broken out, and I believe it's broken out, in my view, about one thing, one subject, the deportation of illegals. So I'm going to ask you a question, and in essence, it's 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Adrian Core. Would you raise your hands to show me, so it's 1 for yes, 2 for no, if you want mass deportation of all illegal immigrants and their families? 1 for yes, 2 for no. So I'm going to ask you, do you want mass deportation of all illegal immigrants and their families? So the reason I'm asking you this is because this is the fight for the soul of reform. Nigel's going, no. And Rupert Lowe's going, just here, get them gone. Get them gone, all of them. So there we have a fight between or for the soul of Reform UK. Literally, not that this is an echo chamber, but literally everybody's like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's the issue that is defining this country over the last 9 years since 2016. I will tell you that Tony Blair was put into power, and his only job was to make sure so he got into power in 97, and then in 1998, because I have the data, I was on air doing a lunchtime phone-in on Century 106. So I know this for fact. Germany said to France and England, you have to take more of these economic migrants. And England at the time was taking about 22,000 economic migrants per year. And France was taking about 27,000 economic migrants per year. Germany, and this is the reason why they said to France and Britain, were taking 100,000 economic migrants per year. This is back in 1998. So Tony Blair, in government, in this country, was told, you, bonny lad, need to take more economic migrants. France, you need to take more economic migrants. And then, if you fast forward to maybe 18 months ago, what the bloody hell did Rishi Sunak give Emile Macron and his husband £500 million for? Because nothing's changed. Absolutely naff all. They're still coming across in dinghies. There's still thousands and thousands and thousands of them coming across. But you know what Tony Blair did? And nobody's told you this except me, because I was there at the time. What they did, what that government did, it was a Labour government, Tony Blair's government, they counted the male heads into this country. And then, when they got rid of them, they counted the female and the children's heads going out. So it looked like we were deporting loads of them. And we weren't. Because the male head only was counted coming in, and then the wife and the kids and the male heads were counted on the way out. That's how government works. They lie. They manipulate and lie. So this is, and we're not in the EU, so it shouldn't be by their rules. But then again, backdoor Starmer taking us into Europe via the back door. That's why I call him backdoor, because we're going into Europe via the back door. We're not allowed. They know this. They know this. The governance know this, that we are trying to do the best that we can, and they're not allowing us. They're not allowing us to be adult. Who said that? Napoleon Bonaparte said, scammers, not immigrants. Very good point. Simon Smedley, they're an army. Yeah, there's more of them coming in historically over the last 27 years than we have as an army. I think in total, the army is about 108,000 people. That's not fighting men. So we haven't got enough. And then they'll be coming to us going, well, it's all kicked off. Well, here's the uniform. Here's a rifle. We'll give you 6 months basic training up at Catterick. Rusty's roamings. We are where Iran was in the 1970s, and we all know how that turned out. Yeah, Khomeini. Ray Norton, the people in the hotels are soldiers you will be fighting during civil unrest. Des Ashton, lies, damn lies, and statistics. But will a revolt do anything? Look, if you look at how he's speaking now, how he's positioning himself, and it's a comedy opening for you, you can make as many gags as you want. The way that he's positioning himself, he's kind of turning right-leaning. He's going more New Labour. He's going more Tony Blair and Mandy Mantelson. Mandy Mantelson, who was caught in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book. What would he be doing in there, I wonder? Just asking for a friend. So the Reform Party, I think its soul, there's a schism. They're not going to come back from this. They can't. Rupert, is he going to form his own new party? Farage is Mein Führer. He's in charge. Nobody else is in charge. Nobody gets a sniff. So they're all struggling to get to, what can I say? How can I say this? Gene Psychic, stop making me laugh, you're wrong. Rich, he's being told to swing to the right by his masters. Correct, because all they're interested in is power. They're not, look, they'll get money. You know that WEF was given $32 million by the United States Agency for International Development. $32 million at the last count. Why would they want $32 million from the Yanks? Your guess is as good as mine, but they still received it via United States Agency for International Development. We have no clue how much the World Economic Forum has been given prior to that financial year. It could be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, but nobody's telling you this. Nobody, because everybody is scared to tell you the truth. Me, I don't give a flying. Truth is truth, facts are facts. Don't confuse me with facts, me mind's made up, Adrian. How do I win shite? Tucker, you're missing it. You're running late again. Oof, blimey. Napoleon Tucker 69. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Echo, Bunny Woman. Good to have you back. Maybe reform is controlled opposition after all. Well, that's why I asked you whether you would vote for them. Because we'll find out in the by-election. We'll find out in the local council elections. I do believe in my heart of hearts that reform is going to cause such a political earthquake that Labour actually won't know what's hit them. Let's just wait and see. But that's why I asked the question of you. Again, it's the deportation of the all illegal immigrants. Rupert Lowe wants that to happen. So if you have a populist that's possibly the next prime minister, and he's being backed by Elon Musk, Nigel's fighting for his political life, but he doesn't. Les Griffiths, Farage is out for Farage, always was. Well, I'll ask you the question because nobody seems to be able to give me the answer. Who shorted the NatWest shares, the NatWest stock, when he was having the fight with Coots? It's a really honest question. Nobody will give you the answer because, well, it's not illegal. But can you imagine somebody having a spat with a bank and then shorting the parent company of that bank and then causing such a furore that the shares tanked or went down and then came back up? But you short something, you're betting on them going down, the share price going down. Thank you, Karen. Really appreciate your support. So nobody's able to answer that. I know the answer because most journalists know the answer to the questions they're asking. Terry Wookford, he did. I know he did, Terry. I'm being a facetious old tart. So, I always say that when I'm going to change the subjects. So the by-election's in a couple of weeks. I wonder, I would pay good money to be at Reform headquarters because Zia Youssef, Mohammed is his name, but don't use it because it might alienate some of the membership and some of the supporters who think that they're voting for a particular party. But Mohammed is his real name. And the backbenchers, obviously they hold the power, but the Labour Party backbenchers are absolutely apoplectic with rage because they see the Labour Party just careering from one crisis to another. And they've got a guy at the top who literally doesn't give a flying about anybody else but himself. But that's politics for you, whether it's Farage or Starmer or Rachel Reeves and her black hole or Angela Rayner, Ginger Growler. 15-year-old was she? Do you know why I have this quizzical look on my face? It's because you can't actually get a straight answer about that. How old Angela Rayner was when she fell pregnant. So when you look at things and you don't get, data and information is everywhere. If you don't get corroborative evidence anywhere on the net, you will know that it's a lie. So when I try to do my research, whether it's AI or Google or any of the other search engines, when I try to find out how old Angela Rayner was when she fell pregnant, then you don't get a straight answer. It should be the exact same answer no matter which search engine you are using, because truth and fact are truths and facts. Do you want me to give you... I'll hold on to it for a minute or two, but within the next 5 minutes or so, I am going to give you the answer to everything. Everything that you want to know. So whether it's Starmer saying, Putin won't come to the table. Mate, He's not coming to your table because your table isn't the table that he wants to come to. He's talking to fucking Trump, man. I mean, this man, if you look at his glasses, even his glasses are a lie. They're not glasses that he needs for reading. They're not glasses that he needs for anything. They're bloody straight glass. Because it makes him look more intelligent. Not at my house, it doesn't. Oh, fuck me. Look at that idiot. Moron. Intellectual pygmy. Just in my view. But you look at his glasses if you can. Now, if I do that, you can see that my varifocals, I haven't got used to them yet, but I need them. It's an age thing. I need them. But if you look at his glasses, they're not even there to correct his vision. They're there for the public's perception of his intelligence. Tell me I'm wrong. Give me the corroborative evidence to tell me that I'm wrong. But I've sat there looking at him. I can see straight through his glasses, and I know that it doesn't. Fucking idiot. Ooh. Hang on a second. I need to just see if I can get this. Les Griffiths. No political party will solve our problems. The solution is in the hands of the people, just like America has shown us. But if we didn't have the Trump at the top, then we're going to struggle. I mean, look at what Trump had to go through. The lawfare, the assassination attempts, the just everything that he went through. They tried to pin January 6th on him. They tried to pin all kinds of stuff. And I guarantee you, during this 4-year stint that he's got, he may have 2. I mean, why? He's 78-year-old. Why would he want to be in his 80s trying to do this? Because he knows it's America first. He loves this country. You can see that a mile away. And these democratic morons, like the left-wing parties in America and the Labour Party in this country, they don't give a flying about you so long as they are filling their pockets as fast as they can go. And now we know how the game works. America, Britain, sends money abroad to NGOs, non-government organisations, and the money comes back under the table into the pockets of the politicians. That's a really simple game. It's been going on for decades and decades and decades. But now, because we have X to have truths on, we now have worked it out. So the politicians can't go, well, we're going to sort out this and we're going to send £11.6 billion to Africa and we're going to send all this money to Ukraine. We're going to send them £300 billion over the next 100 years. For what, Kiamit? You're not a president. You can't just go willy-nilly around the world saying, oh, you can have some money. Yeah, you can have some money. Because we know that if they go to governments and NGOs, some of the money comes back to the country as kickbacks. If you look at President Brown Trousers, President Poopy Pants, he got almost, from Ukraine, almost $100 million in kickbacks. Even Zelensky come out and said, I was sending money back to America. And do you know in NATO that if you join NATO, you have to buy your arms and armaments from preferred suppliers, which are American, of course? That's why they want them in NATO, because they want Ukraine buying all of America's gear, as in the arms and armaments. And if they're not in NATO, where are they going to get them from? Oh, let me guess, France and Britain. So you see, the politicians, they're literally looking at the camera and lying to your face. Lying. Because it's about the grift. It's about the moolah. It's about the moolah coming back to them. Why do you think Rich Boy Sunak had his envoy, David Pig Fucker Cameron, go, literally, he's in there as a foreign secretary, and nobody's been able to answer this for me because it's a valid question that needs to be asked. Why did Cameron go to Israel, and why did Cameron go to Ukraine? His first job's on the job. Why would that be? He's a foreign secretary. There's a whole bloody planet to go and visit. Why couldn't he go to Canada or Australia or go out to the Far East or go and talk with Putin? Oh, yeah, man, Vladimir, give the lads a chance. Straight to Israel, straight to Ukraine. How much money did he make? As in for Britain, because obviously he's negotiating for the benefit of Great Britain. But nobody ever says that. Nobody ever gives us our answer, do they? Stuart, thank you. Always appreciate your support of the channel. Paul Wazza says, police won't help us or be on our side because their pensions matter to them. Correct. But it will be the same for them too. No pension. That's the only thing that they've got over the cops. And now the cops, as in the police officers, not just the civvies. The civvies always had to have 40 years in the pension to get the full pension. And the cops, it was 30 years. One of my oldest friends up in, because loads of my school friends went into the police. Some firearms, some CID, some bits and pieces, because obviously the pension is very, very good. Very, very good. It's career average now. It was final salary. If you know what that means, you'll know what that means. And what was I going to say to you? Yeah, so one of my mates was a sergeant. He had 20 odd years in. And he was looking at maybe 8 or 9 years and he could retire on a nice pension. And he said to me, he said, what's the point? They've raised it to 40 years. Same as the civvies. So the people in charge, and look, the desk jockeys, they're not going to look after their troops. In my view, they never do. So 40 years a cop's got to roll around in the dirt with the scum-sucking pond life on the streets of this country to get his pension of 40 years. No, they're leaving. They're leaving. And there's nobody coming in to do the same jobs. They're not. That's why you'll get, for argument's sake, and it's kind of, this is me just giving this to you. You want a cup? Whistle. Bit like the peelers. They haven't got enough cops, frontline cops, to be able to come and deal with what you personally might be dealing with at the time. Whether it's a house break-in, whether it's an assault, whether it's a serious assault, or whether it's some criminal activity somewhere, they haven't got the cops. They don't want you to know that, evidently. But the cops are leaving. They've had enough. Why should they roll around in the muck on a Friday and a Saturday night, or any night of the week for that matter? Why should they roll around trying to deal with society that you won't deal with and the politicians won't deal with, but the cops have to deal with it? Who would have their job? Not me. And all for their pension at the end of it? No. I know some cops that have left going, oh, I've had enough. Popeye Wazza says, have you seen the video of the lad being arrested for having a joke with police? Yeah. You kind of watch it and think, what's going on? Because I look, what's the old saying? Society gets the police force it deserves. It's not one force. It's built on 48 areas. I mean, you've got one force in Scotland, Police Scotland, but that was, 7 or 8 forces that amalgamated into one. You've got 48 police forces. Some of them use commonality with how they, like SOCO or other bits and pieces within policing. I've said to you before, G4S. I'll use this comment from Dale Steele. My brother-in-law was a dog handler with BTP, that's British Transport Police. He had to do the Manchester bombing bodies on train tracks. He left last year after 8 years. Dead end job. Are you aware that British Transport Police, they get 90 minutes? So please, if anybody is struggling with anything, do not take this option. Please reach out to those people and those organisations that can give you support. But if someone sadly decides that this world is not for them, and they take this particular action, British Transport Police have got 90 minutes to get the trains running again. Because their paymasters, they're not actually a police force. Their paymasters are the train operating companies, not the government, not the politicians. the majority of the money that's given to British Transport Security Service is via the train operating companies. But you have all of these different, you have British Transport Police in Scotland, and because the rail network is, I mean, it's huge, it's massive. So, Les Griffiths, living in a mining town during the miner strike, saw firsthand the criminal actions of the police. I agree with you, Les, because, you know, Sunderland is mining stock. And there were squaddies in police uniforms with no numbers on their epaulets dealing with the miners. It was a dirty, dirty, dirty time. And Thatcher, she just had to break the mining unions. And she did. She did. I mean, I did numerous fundraisers for the miners because, you know, as I say, my family's from mining stocks. It's not a very pleasant job at all. So when we've got, and I'll get to Shakespeare in just a little while, when they talk about white privilege, it doesn't exist. It's a figment of their imaginations. It's a bat that they want to bat us with, and they just trot out Birmingham University and pull all of their funding from the taxpayers, pull all of their funding, not just one or two departments. Shut the fucking university down. How very dare they have a go at Shakespeare? White privilege, my hairy arse. Stop it. How dare they? Now, white privilege, it might be the landed gentry, those that sit there that don't have any worries about money. But I know for shit sure families that I lived with and breathed with and worked with, sending the dads down the mines. Do you know how many men were killed doing that job? It's not a job to be taken lightly. And literally every couple of miles we had pits. We had pit shafts sunk. We had Monk Wearmouth pit that Sunderland Stadium of Light is built on top of. And you will know if you've been there or you're a football fan, you will know that they have to let some of the gas out from underground. Otherwise, it would just go boom. And you can see that right outside the Stadium of Light. And they call it white privilege. Arseholes. Utter arseholes. Shut it down. Look, universities is just a money-making scheme. Oh, yeah, just come into the sausage factory. Back to Charles the Whig. Come into the sausage factory. Yeah, you'll leave with about 40 or 50,000 pounds in debt. For what? A piece of paper that said you sat there and took somebody else's opinion on board, assimilated that, and was able to write something at the end of it. Surprised you could string letters and sentences together. And universities say that Shakespeare was white privilege. No, just honestly. Jules D, I didn't say that. I am a big fan of Lady Campbell. Lady Campbell C, putting her into car straight about white privilege. It was brilliant. Let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you how social media works. You need to have controversy to get large viewerships. You need to have controversial posts so that people disagree with you so vehemently. Thousands of people post on your channel or your timeline or whatever. A bit like there's somebody wrote in, I think it was in the Mail today, about poor little Britney Spears. Britney Spears is a sharp businesswoman, let me tell you, because they're talking about her dancing and, well, you know, I fear for her mental health. She's posting to make money. I mean, if you look at, what's her face from GMTV, she posts and posts and posts, and it's always about the same subject, her ex-husband. It's monetized. Instagram, YouTube, all the social media are monetized. And people are worried about Britney Spears' mental health. She's a businesswoman. She's posting something that will get millions of views and make her a few bob. Not about her mental health. And Narinder Kaur, Kaur, Kaur. She's just been. It's the old shock jocks from late night radio, of which I was one. It's the old shock jockery where you just say something contentious and people respond to it. They go apoplectic with rage. Brilliant. She just lights the blue touch paper, stands back and watches everybody kick off. And then a couple of days later, because it's had 10,000 views, it'll make her a few bob, she'll do another one and another one and another one. And that's why this white privilege shtick that universities and other social media creators and influencers are doing literally does not exist. And those in the northeast, we built the best ships in the world until Maggie flogged off the steel industry to China. Whether it was Northern Ireland, whether it was Scotland, whether it was the northeast of England and or Liverpool, we built the best ships in the world. We're an island race. We've lost thousands of years of knowledge. We've flogged it off to the Chinese under Margaret Thatcher. Hang on. What's that? Pop Mike Wazza, what's that? R.I.P. Derek. Oh, dead Derek. Yeah, got it. So let me give you the answer to everything. I was just waiting a little while to get into the second hour. Let me give you this. Now, Trump, it's Donald Trump and it's America. And it's about, he today has said, I will rain hell on the Houthis. Now, let me tell you, I put a video up, blimey, 18 months ago. And I told you what was going on in Gaza. I told you what was going on in Israel. It's all about the gas and oil and the Ben Gurion Canal. But the thing is that the Houthis in Qatar and the Middle East were bombing the ships that would have to come into Egypt and the Suez Canal. And if they start building the Ben Gurion Canal, which I believe they either have done or will do very soon, because the Americans built a $300 million port to get aid in for the Gazans. And then said, oh, no, we spent $300 million on that, so we're going to close it down. And I thought, close what down? So you've built £300 million port halfway up the Gaza Strip to get aid in for the Gazans? Had a way and shite, lads. Seen right through that. It's to build the Ben Gurion Canal, and the ships are going to come into the Red Sea, and they're going to hang a right where they would have gone on continually through the Suez Canal and Egypt. But Egypt and the Suez Canal then control military maneuvers. They can decide who can and who can't go through the Suez Canal. So the Israel wants to build this Ben Gurion Canal so that they can move the American and Israeli military movements at will, free at will. And look, Israel and America want the oil and gas energy independence again out of the East Mediterranean and the Gaza Strip. Gas and oil, that's what it's about. And Russia and Ukraine, exactly the same under the Black Sea. The Black Sea, it's got so much oil and gas under the Black Sea. It's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars for hundreds of years. And they're saying, oh, Putin, like this intellectual pygmy, oh, Putin won't come to the table. He's already at the table, mate. He's talking to Trump. He's not talking to you. He's talking to Trump. So you will get the crumbs. Barely. But here's the answer that you're looking for. And I'll take this slowly because the reason why Trump is saying I'll rain hell on the Houthis, because the Houthis are stopping the shipping channels running up and hanging a right, going up through the Negev desert, because that's where it's going to go. And the Ben Gurion Canal will be built in rock, not shifting sands as the Suez Canal, in a rock, so it's more stable. But if the Houthis keep bombing the buggery out of all the ships that are coming through the Red Sea, they're not going to be able to go through the Ben Gurion Canal, are they? No. So that's why Trump is saying, I'm going to rain hell on the Houthis. Won't take long. America will just go in and flatten them. So let me explain to you what Trump is doing. And if you don't get this, I will, over the next few weeks, I'll repeat it, and try to explain to you what Trump is doing and why. And I'm going to start tonight. So Trump is trying to crash the stock market by at least 20%. And why would he do that? To cause a flight into treasuries. Are you aware that gold has gone past $3,000 an ounce? It's never been worth that much, ever. The reason why it's gone up is because people, when they get nervous and believe there's a crash coming, a stock market crash of some kind, they put their money into gold because it's stable. And you've got some of the biggest hedge funds in the world divesting themselves of their shares and their stocks in whatever companies. So the massive hedge funds are getting rid of their stocks and shares and possibly putting it into gold. The price of gold is going to go up further. But Trump is trying to crash the stock market by at least 20%, causing a flight into treasuries. And this will cause the Fed to slash interest. And this is the important part. They'll slash interest rates. So the debt that America has, and the last time I looked, it was $36.5 trillion. That's how much America is in debt. It's bankrupt. They can't finance their debt. But what Trump is doing is he wants to cause the Fed to slash interest rates so he, Trump, the President of the United States of America, can refinance the debt near 0%. So there is method in his madness. He doesn't want to refinance the debt at, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%. But if he can get the interest rates as close to zero as possible, he can refinance the debt. How's he going to do that? Well, that will cause a deflationary spiral, which will lower the cost of everything. Everything. Remember, it's America first. Make America great again. Make America healthy again. So the reason why Trump is doing what he's doing, not only because he wants the Fed to slash the interest rates so he can refinance the debt as close to 0% as possible, he also wants it to cause a deflationary spiral, which will lower the cost of everything. And I'll give you the answer to that right at the very end of this little piece. Trump also intends to use tariffs as an incentive for companies to stay in the Americas, as in the US, and build in the US. Because if they build abroad, maybe that's the iPhones, China is doing a whole load of building for American stuff. Trump wants American companies to stay in America and build and make their stuff, their wares, in the United States, because then they'll avoid having to pay the tariffs. They might make them abroad and then bring them into the States, but bringing them into the States might have a 25% or a 50% tariff. Rich says high inflation would benefit their debt as well. Well, inflation has literally dropped off a cliff in America because that's government spending. Government spending causes inflation, and they're cutting the government bill by hundreds of billions, hundreds, because the debt alone costs America $1 trillion per year. So to finance the debt costs $1 trillion. Now, I know this is kind of throwing a whole load of numbers and information at you. Mike J says, yes, this does make sense. So the tariffs and resulting global war will also force, and this is vitally important. You've got Bill Gates buying up all this farmland. You've got Starmer in this country trying to destroy the farmers. You've got farmers in Holland and France and Spain protesting because Europe, the European Super Union, the idiots that want us to go back into the European Super Union, had away and shite, man. Give your head a wobble. You think that going back into the European Super Union is going to benefit this country? Had away and shite. man. So the tariffs and resulting global money war will also force American farmers to sell more of their goods in the US, not sending them abroad because it'll cost them. They want to keep it in the US. And due to retaliatory trade measures by other countries, the farmers will be farming for the Americans. That's exactly what Trump wants. Make America great again. Make America first. So that will directly lower the price of groceries in America. Can you see what's going on now? He wants to finance the debt at as close to 0% as possible. He wants the companies in America to make their wares for the American market and the farmers in America for the American people, because it will bring the price of the food down. Can you see how easy this is? And Starmer, that's why I call him a moron, a clown, an intellectual pygmy. But he's being told what to do by the Europeans, Ursula von der Leyen bitch, and Klaus Schwab. So I'll throw some other figures at you, and as I say, over the next few weeks, I'm just going to reiterate this so that you get it. You get a good grasping of it, because then everything that you watch on the TV, and when you see the Donald playing 5D chess, you kind of get what he's doing. And he can say anything you want. You'll just see everything plainly. You'll have clarity of the whole situation. So more than 4% of all stock is owned now. I've written the wrong. Let me just have a look. I'm just going to do something. Yeah. So I think my lesbian, well-hung lesbian fingers missed out a number. So I'm going to give you this figure. And this is fact. 94% of all stock in America is owned by 8% of the US population. I'm going to give you that again, because it's the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. More than 94% of all stock is owned by just 8% of the US population. So Trump is literally taking money away from the rich and giving it back to the poor. That's why he's going to get his head carved into Mount Rushmore, because this boy's not mucking about. He's eviscerating all the corruption. He's draining the swamp. But at the same time, he wants to make America great again. He wants the man and woman on the street that are suffering at the moment. He wants them, and he wants their food to be cheaper. So have you noticed that Trump is kind of playing a game of tariff hokey-cokey? So one day he has 25% tariffs on Mexico, and the next day he doesn't. You put your left leg in, your left leg out, in, out, shake it all about. You have to be a good-looking woman for Trump, though. So Trump's playing a genius game of tariff hokey-cokey. So if somebody pisses him off, like Canada, right, tariff. And then Canada, who've just elected another WEF stooge, see what they're doing there? It's a left-wing country. Mark Carney, he was head of the Bank of England. WEF controlled him. They control him. So he's gone into whatever it is, into Canada. Justin Trudeau. Bye. Wouldn't want to be you. Gone. Can't go anywhere else. And the reason why Trump is doing this game of tariff hokey-cokey is because it causes extreme volatility in the markets. The markets like certainty. They don't like uncertainty. So Trump is going, all right, lads, you think you're going to play me? Right, 25% against the Mexicans, 25% against the Canadians. We're going to take Greenland for us, 51st state. No, we'll make Canada 51st state. And the markets are going, oi, what are you doing? We don't like that. We can't make money. You're wrong. And what this does to the hedge funds, as I've already mentioned to you, and other people that have got money in skin in the game. It creates that extreme volatility in the markets and a desperate need to demand to flee towards treasury bonds, which are much more stable. So the markets, stocks, shares, love stability. Because if you look at 9/11, if you can remember this, 9/11, the stocks, certainly for the FTSE, we're looking at about 6,000 at a peak. It was a real big peak then, and everybody was really happy. And then it dropped. 9/11, within 2 or 3 days, it was dropping down to £3,000. Wow, Frank, that's an amazing stat. Frank Noble says, it's no better in the UK, Adrian. The north of England still hold 8 out of 10 of the poorest areas in all of Western Europe. That's a hell of a stat. Rusty's Roamings. How can he take Greenland when it's not his to take? Tell the Donald that. He's just noising them all up. He's unsettling everybody. He's playing 5D chess. But the markets want stability. Trump is destabilizing everything. And I've said to you for the past few weeks, the Trump, what he's doing is he's flooding the zone. He's putting so much out there that literally the news cycle is minutes, not even hours or days or half days. It's minutes. By the time him and Elon have gotten to the bottom of something with Doge, the story's out there. And then they've got another story to follow behind it. It's flooding the zone. So you are overwhelmed with the amount of news that is being given to you on a daily basis. I've said to you before, by the time I've read the newspapers on a morning, I only read them to get the zeitgeist of what's going on around the world. Because that news is old news. You might get some, I don't know why I'm putting down there, because that's where the papers are on my desk. The reason why it changes is because they can't have you work out what's going on. And by telling you this, this is what is happening. It's the only game in town. Donald's 5D chess with the whole of planet Earth, and that little intellectual pygmy in number 10 believes that he's going to get Putin to the table. Wrong table, wrong country. Putin doesn't want to even know who you are. He's a communist. You're a Marxist. Why would he want anything to do with you? You're a fucking moron, a clown. The politicians in this country, the political classes, the parasitic classes, Putin is laughing his cap off if he wore one. But those treasury bonds that I've just told you about, they're stable but offer much lower potential return. So the answer is simply this. And it's kind of the zeitgeist in America. It's all around eggs, because eggs went exponentially up quite a bit. This is why eggs are now cheaper than under Biden, than under brown trousers, than under President Shitty Pants. So the Donald is playing a game that all of the other leaders around the world can't get a grasping of. He wants to crash the market. And he wants to crash the market so he can finance the debt that he's dealing with. Remember, $1 trillion per year. And that's, they can't trade out of this with their GDP. They've got to cut all the government finances and the US aid finances, everything. They have to get rid of all of that so that they can get rid of the debt. So that's what it's about. And I've been telling you for 18 months that the Donald has a $36.5 trillion debt that he has to service, and he can't. He can't trade his way out of it. So America is bankrupt. They can't even print their own bloody money, fiat currency. Des Ashton says, why are non-terrestrial aliens arriving? I see them all the time. They're in bloody number 10. Adam Whale says, so the Fed will cut interest rates. That's what Trump is trying to force them into. And once they bring the interest rate down, if he can get it close to 0%, then that's what he'll take it as. He'll be able to finance the whole debt. And he's going to pull America out of it. And remember this, Trump is going to pull America out of this with crypto. He's already said he's going to make America the #1 crypto destination in the world ever. And the only way that he can finance that $36.5 trillion debt is with crypto. So he wants to take as much as he can down to close as zero as he can, buy up all the crypto, and then inflate it. It's almost like a pump and dump, but on a governmental scale. That's how he's going to turn it around. That's how he's going to make America great again. That's how he's going to make the prices come down for the American on the street. Men and women and families. And everybody around the world squealing like stuck pigs because you've got people going, you can't do this. US aid, that's for us. It's for us to grift, and it's for us to skim off the top. Trump don't care. He's not even taking his wage as American president. Angelic Inspirations, thank you for that. It's well worth listening to on YouTube. He does do mega research, and his predictions based on what has been said and published has earned him credibility. That's all I'm trying to do here, Angelic Inspirations. So this is all my research. I want to kind of move on to a couple of things because we've been going quite a while, another 10 minutes or so. So please stay with this particular live. Brilliant, Les. The International Space Station, my hairy backside. Why does NASA need a Hollywood-sized movie set? Oh, that's a rabbit hole we could go down another night. Did America actually land on the moon? Not according to other Hollywood filmmakers. So let me tell you something about something just doesn't feel right about these two ships colliding in the North Sea. We know that one was computer controlled. Oh, and last night I watched a documentary called Last Breath. If you can find it online and watch it, it is one of the best documentaries you'll ever see. There's a new film coming out. I think it's this weekend. It's come out, and I think Woody Harrelson's in it, and other Stanley Kubrick. Thank you, Adam. Last Breath is a new film that's come out this weekend, but there was an original documentary from 2019 that I sourced yesterday and watched it. I mean, not to spoil it for you, but I promise you, if you've never seen it, it will take your breath away. It's about the North Sea and the lads that do deep sea diving, and one of them, wow. I mean, just wow. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It was just an amazing documentary, lasts about an hour and a half, and it's a roller coaster. You literally don't realize that time is passing. It is what happened to those men. Oh, and I won't spoil it for you. There's no spoiler alerts in this if you're catching up. But go to the cinema and see Last Breath. But for me, the better one is the documentary from 2019 made by BBC Scotland. It is breathtaking and intense and keeps you on the edge of your seat. And they use actual footage in the documentary. They use actual footage from the submersible and the bottom of the on the seabed, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've seen some fantastic films. Stuart says, if it's on a streaming service, I'll check it out. I think it might be. I was given a DVD copy to watch, and I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't go to IMDb to check it out. It didn't really matter. But I promise you, you will not see a better documentary anywhere in the world ever. Amazing, amazing. And the outcome of the documentary will blow your mind. I promise you. So if you can, somewhere, it's called Last Breath. The documentary is, for me, the better version, although Hollywood has made this film that is starting at the cinema. But talking about the North Sea as I was, the story of the two ships colliding in the North Sea just off Hull, as soon as someone was arrested, no more reportage. I get it. Skipper of the ship that went into the ship that was at anchor is Russian and been arrested. And I was trying to work out, was this in British waters or was this in international waters? Was it liable for British laws? Well, British waters extends 12 nautical miles out to sea, all the way around the Scepted Isles. 12 nautical miles out to sea from the baseline, and I didn't know what the baseline was. So basically the baseline is the low water line along the coast, right round the island. They're saying that a salvage plan is being developed and the Solange is still on fire. But there's no real reporting on it. I know that, I was going to say, Rich is retro here. He was, I think he was offshore when this happened, and he said hello in the comments of one of the videos. No way! Bloody hell, I'll have a look. Thank you, Stuart. I was going to talk about the Justice Bill, because Robert Jenrick asked for an amendment to the bill going through Parliament, and Labour blocked Robert Jenrick's amendment. So if Robert Jenrick hadn't stood up in the Houses of Parliament, you wouldn't have known about the change in this bill. So it's like Humza Yousaf. Humza Yousaf was like head of the legal services, white, head of white, white. That speech, you remember that? Well, the head of the Ministry of Justice is Muslim. The Mayor of London is Muslim. The head of Ofsted is Muslim. And we're only just finding out now. This is how they operate. This is the parasitic classes. This is the political classes. How they operate is they're trying to do stuff that you won't notice. And it was only with Robert Jenrick standing up in the House of Commons going, whoa, 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 lads, hang on a second. What's going on here then? Sick and tired of this corrupt system in this country. This country should be for the benefit of all in this country. All, not just a few. And the legal industry is foul. It's corrupted. They're just there making as much money as they can go, as fast as they can go. They're not interested in you. You think you're going to get restorative justice by going to a solicitor or hiring a barrister. Ah, man, here, give your head a wobble. They're not interested in you. They're not interested in whether you win the court case or not. They're just interested in making money. I had a solicitor hired once. Shan't give you his name. He said to me, he was working this other case, and the other case lost at court. And for me, it was an indicator as to what this guy was all about. He said, "Oh, we lost the case, but I do love spending other people's money." And I thought, Jesus, I've hired you, so I'm going to get the same treatment. Just wanted to be a judge. He's now a barrister. It's foul. The legal industry in this country is corrupted and has so much poison in it. I mean, I'm sure that there are some laudable individuals within the legal industry trying to do the best thing that they can via their clients. I know some, and barristers. But the majority of them, it just stinks to high heaven. And now we've got this head of the Ministry of Justice. Is it Shabina Mahmood? So she's protesting as hard as she can go during the week, but didn't block the vote, didn't stand there going, I'm not voting for this. She voted with it. Hang on, I thought you were saying we can't do this. And yet you vote for it. Absolutely stinks to high heaven. Let me give you some insight into Starmer, because I haven't given you all the details that I want. I wanted to talk about Generation Zombie, but I think I'll do that in a different video. Starmer, as said, is going to send. He wants boots on the ground in Ukraine. Not his son, obviously. The son is of conscription age, if we brought that back in. And remember, before the general election, Rishi Sunak said he wanted to bring conscription back. Remember that conversation? And everybody, I don't know about you, but I thought, hang on, where's that come from? What is going on? Now his handler's at WEF, because Sunak went to WEF. Don't believe the richest on the planet are not nose deep in the trough. Rich boy Sunak told you before the general election he wanted to bring conscription back. And people that I know was like, hang on a second. Yes, that's the one with Chris Lemons, Terry Wuckford. Who said that? Was it Cuban Pete? Yes, correct. The one with Chris Lemons. It's an amazing, fantastic story. I mean, just on every single level. An amazing story. I was kind of aware of it, but didn't have the detail. So Starmer and Rich Boy Sunak, Rich Boy said, bringing conscription back. And everybody, all the right-wingers were like, yeah, brilliant. All the Tories, the right-wing Tories, yeah, brilliant. Hang them and flog them, and then we'll get them in the army. They didn't get in, and then all of a sudden, oh, by the way, Rusty's Roamings, I've got to say this. I got it tight from loads of people calling them Gen Z. They are correct, of course, so I'll take the feedback. So can you imagine Gen Z being conscripted? They'd all cry mental health and get off with it. No, they bloody wouldn't. Give them no choice. Look, I've seen videos of the press gangs in Ukraine. Just press gang them. If it was good enough for the pirates and if it was good enough for the ships, then it's good enough for Keir Starmer's son. And any other MP that's got kids that might be of conscription age, 17 to 24. At that point, they'll start squealing. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Well, yes, we can. You've just told us that you're putting 10,000 boots on the ground. 9,999 plus Starmer's son. 10,000 boots on the ground. So I was watching this creature, and all I could see was a man trying to big his part up on the world stage. He goes over to meet Donald Trump. Donald Trump says, you want to say anything? No, right, shut up. Donald Trump was talking about his wife. Now, Starmer, no. By the way, you know what Saturday is, don't you? Correct. Shabbat. So, it's what certain communities revere and hold sacred. And Starmer's wife, from Friday night, I mean, she's a liberal Jew, so I'm not quite sure. There's sort of 4 different flavors of Judaism. Some's like really hardcore. Some of them are lovely and cuddly and not so hardcore. It would take me literally all night to be able to explain this to you. But Starmer, Shabbat, when he's supposed to be with his wife and his kids. And remember, at the very beginning, he said, no. Gets to Friday night about 5 o'clock. I'm done, mate. I'm done. I'm off home. And I'll reappear on a Sunday morning when it's not Shabbat. So he was very clear in what he was going to do. And what did he do yesterday? Comes out and gives a bloody press conference on a Saturday. Here, Keir, mate, just tell us, did the missus get upset that you didn't hold Shabbat sacred? So what's going on with his marriage? Just asking for a friend. I'm curious, because he said at the beginning of his prime ministerialship, he was going to keep Shabbat sacred. Didn't use the word Shabbat. He just said he was going to finish it Friday night. Friday night tea time, when Shabbat comes in, he was going to stop all work and then wait until Saturday night when Shabbat goes out, and then he would start work again. Yesterday, he was holding press conferences to the world, to everybody that would watch. Warren Francis, blimey. We're 2 hours in, man. Terry Wookford chews a beard. Needs to shave them. Honestly, Terry, you're just encouraging me to be so naughty. But I was watching this creature give this press conference to the world. And for me, in my view, it just looked like he was trying to make himself look relevant. And he was like, oh, you know, Putin won't come to the table. Of course he won't come to the bloody table because you've not got any say-so. You've not got any leverage. You can't do anything to improve his life, the Russians' life, the Russian country, or America and Trump. You literally can't do anything. But you still want to put 10,000 boots on the ground in Ukraine. Go ahead, Bonnie lad, because the people that are negotiating peace are not you. They're not having you at the table. You will do as you are told. And the Trump, when he had you over there and was talking about your lovely wife, and you said, oh, yeah, I've got to back that. I've got to back that. Oh, man, he was taking the piss out of you. He was absolutely laughing at you, and you didn't work it out. Even as quick as you are, even as a skilled barrister and orator as you evidently are, Trump moused you. He just moused you. And what did he do? Oh, yeah, wife, yeah, fabulous. Trump and JD must have burst their incontinence pants laughing at this idiot. So Putin has already been at the peace table. He's already been at the peace table with Trump. Putin will not deal with Sniffy because he's off his tits on coke all the time. Evidently. He'll deal with Trump because he knows Trump holds the power. He holds the key. Blimey, the Cookie Collective. The key, what was it? The key, hold the power, the key. Anyway, I digress. Starmer's at the wrong table. He's just being told by the Europeans, yeah, well, we'll do this, because America won't pump money into Ukraine to protect Ukraine. And Sniffy, who literally will be assassinated if the rumours I'm hearing, he doesn't want war to end because the only way he's staying alive is by being in a war. Some of the Ukrainians are not very happy with him. Now, I wish him a long life. I wish him a safe and happy long life with his Bugatti owning, Louboutin owning, French expensive handbag owning missus and his kids. But Starmer's at the wrong table. Trump has already negotiated peace. He was talking, before Labour got into power, he was talking about bringing about peace long before Starmer ever knew. That's interesting, Neo Bovril. Starmer is just a skilled embarrassment. Brilliant. So Trump's negotiated this. He will go down in history as the peace negotiator, the peace president. And Europe are now scrambling to look like they've got any relevance, that they have power. They have nothing. They don't even have the German economy to power Europe through this. They don't. Germany's a busted flush. France, they take 500 million off rich boy Sunak and do absolutely bugger all about the economic migrants coming across. But I will tell you this, and you can quote me. Britain has now positioned itself as Russia's #1 enemy, siding with Sniffy. Russia's #1 enemy. So why would Starmer want 10,000 boots? Well, 9,999 boots plus his own son in Ukraine, frontline. Gan on, man, Kia. If you feel so aggrieved, so passionate about bringing peace about to Ukraine, send your son across. Because by the time he gets there, he'll be 18. Could be an officer, could be a Rupert. And do you know something? As I say, Britain has now positioned itself as Russia's #1 enemy, and your taxes are paying for it. They want to skim off the top. They want to send money out to whether it's a country, a government, or an NGO, a non-governmental organisation. They want some of it to come back under the table. That's what politics is all about now. It's not doing the best by me and you. It's about having the grift and having the skim off the top under the table. So when Rich Boy Sunak says, I'm going to bring conscription back, everybody laughed. And now Keir Starmer says it, you think, oh shit, hang on. was going to talk about the next Bond. Let's finish off with Shakespeare, because it's the royal family. I mean, it's just a laughing stock. Oh, by the way, Prince Harry, you know, his visa. So Prince Harry's US visa papers are going to be released. Don't know whether they're going to be redacted, if the Epstein files are anything to go by, but his US visa papers are going to be released. Oi, 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 oi. I mean, I'm sure war's a Ponzi scheme, according to Gene Psychic. I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's just a business so that they can go into Parliament with a few bob in their back pocket, get paid 100 and I don't know what the PM gets paid, 155, 160,000 pounds a year, and come out a multimillionaire. How does that work? Nancy Pelosi, she's only been on $165,000 for however long she's been in the Senate. She's come out with hundreds of millions of dollars. How does that work? Is it like a magic tree? Do they plant a magic tree as soon as they go into their Senate or their Parliament, and they just keep plucking 50 quid notes off? No. Ponzi scheme, they're grifting off the top. Prince Harry. Now, the US visa papers, according to a judge, has ordered their release, and they must be made public by Tuesday. Oi, 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 oi. 2 days to go to find out whether little Harold, evidently from his book Spare, because he admitted it all over Spare, that he's been doing recreational gear, whether he's admitted it to the powers that be in America. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, yeah, Terry. Boris is worth millions. But he was used by the Americans, Biden, he was used by the Americans to go across to Sniffy and go, oi, Sniffy, don't stop the war, mate. Honestly, we'll send you more. We'll send you more. Well, 10%, Terry, and we'll send you more. He's got millions, that boy. So, yes, let's talk about Shakespeare. And this, literally, this shitstorm, quite rightly, has come about because of what they're doing. I just, as I said earlier, it's sometimes I can't control my ire. I'll ask you one question before we do Shakespeare. One more question, and then I'll save the other questions for Wednesday. One more question, and it's quite an important one. After the crossbow killer refused to go into court to hear his sentence, I want 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should murderers be in court to hear their sentence? Because he was like, no, sorry, lads. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should murderers be in court to hear their sentence? Male or female? Wow. And this channel's not a hang 'em and flog 'em, but the stuff that came out in the court case was just, he was guilty of rape, he was guilty of murder times 3. It was awful, 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 awful. But nobody said 2. Everybody said 1. Andy Spittle, welcome to the body of the Kirk, young sir. Amalia Grassi, good point. I was shocked to find out that he didn't have to be. Like you, Amalia, I don't understand that. I don't know why. If you are up in front of the beak and you're there for murder and you get found guilty, then you should be there to be given your sentence. Is it because we're being too cuddly? Are we being, oh, it's mental health and oh, it's this, that and the other? Look, that boy, 1 rape, 3 murders. You don't get any more evil than that. Stop treating these. As Don Wigley says, how is Starmer still PM? Well, look at his Minister of Justice, Shabina Mahmood, the Justice Secretary, or however you call her. She should be standing up and going, right, the zeitgeist is the people that elected us, that put us in power, and they might deselect us next. We should go with the majority. And 90-odd% would say he needed to be in court to hear his sentence. And literally everybody, there's nobody, Napoleon Bonaparte says, bring back Albert Pierrepoint. Agreed. So we'll round tonight's live off with Shakespeare. Now, I do love a bit of Shakespeare. I do love a bit of prose and wordplay. But I was thinking about it. This university, just stop, man. Just stop. Just take all of their funding away, all of the students, irrespective of which political hue they are. That's HUE, by the way, you're wrong. Stop it. White privilege. So I thought, using Shakespeare, and I'd love you to comment. Terry Wookford, Lord Chancellor and Minister for Justice, my arse. Agreed. Shakespeare, white privilege. I mean, there's the rabbit hole, did Shakespeare actually exist? So they're talking about white privilege for a man that might not have existed. I can't remember the Lord that they reckon it could have been. But I think they doth protesteth too much. Is this a much ado about nothing? To be a caring, understanding 90s type, or not to be a caring, understanding 90s type. Whether it's the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, that's the best. Francis Bacon, of course. Thank you very much for that. Gene Psychic, Francis Bacon. Oh, they won't like that, will they? Oh, it's white privilege. It's offensive to some. No, it's not. It's just a bloody name, man. So if you can think of any half-decent Marlowe, perchance, says Des Ashton. Is it to be or not to be? Caring, understanding 90s type, says Stuart. And yeah, Rich says, how many ethnic people were around in the times of Shakespeare in the UK? Well, I can tell you that my family were around when Shakespeare was around. All the ne'er-do-wells and the wrong-uns in the northeast, all the ginge. I mean, it missed one generation, but my granddad was a ginge, as was the bin man. So I'm not quite sure. Your history, Shakespeare's sister in the field. What a great shout. Loads according to the BBC. Where art thou, Romeo? Where art thou, Sir Keir, mate? And William Shakespeare, the first person to take a jab in the UK, he was from Sheffield. Coincidence? Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah. Not Shakespeare, the writer, but just a William Shakespeare. I mean, you couldn't make it up, really, could you? Alas, dear Yorick, that's what you get for not paying your taxes. And Gene Psychic says, my family go way back to ancient Britain. So we were around. I've said to you, on my dad's side, we were sheep shaggers and horse thieves in the borders up to 1000s. And my mum, we go back to Rollo and the Vikings, because we've had it professionally done. And we go back to 600 in this country. So I can brag of a 1600 year heritage in this sceptred isle. Even Charles the Weak can't boast that. German. Hang on. Terry Wookford says there was a trumpet player called John Blank, made a bit of a stir. As black as the ace of spades, tends to lean to the opinion there weren't many blacks if he was so notable. Look, we were so dirty because there was none of this Thomas Crapper stuff, none of this, everybody had a shower. Look, I remember the toilets being outdoors in my formative years. So we, parts of my family and other people in Sunderland, had, as we called, the netty outside. Oh, family, fabulous, Les. From 1820 to the 1980s, my family were born within a 30-mile radius of Durham City. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And so we didn't have bars of soap. We didn't have stuff that was going to clean us. So how would you know what colour somebody's skin was? And it's not about someone's skin. Gene Psychic says, I loved outdoor toilet. Cold, though. Yeah, nobody could find you. Nobody wanted to come outside. And the toilet paper when you ran out? Yesterday's newspaper. Cool. So I find it offensive that Birmingham University are calling it white privilege when it didn't matter your skin tone, because nobody knew what colour you were, because we were all hacky black, to use a term from the northeast. It meant dirty. It meant needed a wash. And remember, modern day was only maybe early 1900s, late 1800s, where you had the family take a bath on a Sunday. Dad gets in first, then the kids. And that's why loads of these expressions, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, that's where that comes from. I mean, it's almost as if they're taking today's society and the mores of today's society, where we have toilets inside and baths and showers and double glazing and heat. They're just making this shit up. And it's not. It's a bit like reparation. We're back to Fat Boy Lammy, and I'm going to make this my final point. The reparation payments. Let me tell you that the Dutch slave ship owners were as bad as press-ganging white men from this country and sending them over to the New World as the Africans were in sending their own tribesmen across to the New World, because it wasn't just the white reparations, it was also the blacks of Africa. And there's a great book called White Cargo that I've got somewhere in my archive that tells you this story. So they're using it to their own ends. The Africans were just as brutal in sending their own tribesmen across to America, the brave New World, as were the Dutch slave owners who were sending white folk across to the brave New World. So literally, these intellectual pygmies who are doing soundbite politics, do not listen to them, do not believe them, because they're not worth wiping your backside on. On which cheery note, thank you for your likes and your subscriptions. It's 200 and odd of you. Please smash the likes on your way out. We'll clean the body of the Kirk later. I'm sure Sister Mary... Oh, I was going to tell you. I nearly didn't. Let me tell you what Sister Mary told me. Sister Mary is a character that I've tried to keep silent in the body of the Kirk because, well, she's just a reprobate. I'm not quite sure where she's got a bit of an Irish accent, Sister Mary, so she must be all right. But... she come up to me the other day in the body of the Kirk, and I was just sort of thinking about my sermon tonight and what I was going to do. And she said, Ranty Rev, so what are you going to talk about in your sermon on Sunday? I said, well, Sister Mary, I'm not quite sure. Any of the other nuns in the convent want to have any input? And she says, well, I've just come from the cucumber patch. I just want to say this to you. If you want any gardening advice, I'm happy to do that. I have got green fingers. I said, well, is it syphilis? She said, no, I've just been on the cucumber patch too long. She says, but I can actually give you some gardening tips. And I said, what is that, Sister Mary? And she says, if you're going to bury a dead body in the back garden, firstly, cover it with endangered native species so it's illegal to dig them up. Sister Mary, what are you trying to say to me? Just follow Sister Mary for more gardening tips. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Please remember to take your scraps of the Battenberg and Alta wine with you, although Alta wine's easier to drink than stuffing your face full of Battenberg. And I'll see you for the next live on Wednesday, 8 o'clock as always. There'll be other videos coming, of course. Thank you to everyone and your comments and your votes all the way through tonight's live. My name's Adrian Allen. This is the Theatre of the Mind, live number 155, where we're more than just the headlines. See you Wednesday for the next live, 156.